The cold vacuum of space stretched infinitely in all directions, a silent void pie. Kevin Cross floated weightlessly in the observation deck of the starship Odyssey, his breath fogging the glass as he stared into the abyss. The hum of the ship's engines was a distant murmur, a comforting reminder of the technology that kept them alive in this unforgiving expanse. Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently, alarms blaring as red lights bathed the corridor. Kevin's communicator crackled to life. "Commander Cross, report to the bridge immediately." Heart pounding, Kevin propelled himself through the narrow passageways, the metallic scent of the ship mingling with the acrid tang of fear. He burst onto the bridge to find his crew in disarray, faces pale under the harsh lighting. "Status report," he barked, gripping the back of the pilot's chair. Lieutenant Harper's fingers danced over the console, her voice trembling. "Sir, we've encountered an unidentified anomaly. It's pulling us off course." Kevin's eyes narrowed as he studied the swirling vortex displayed on the screen, a churning maelstrom of energy that defied explanation. He'd seen countless cosmic phenomena, but this was different. "Reverse thrusters, get us out of its grasp," he ordered, his voice steady despite the adrenaline surging through his veins. "Negative, Commander, it's too strong," Harper replied, panic edging her tone. The ship lurched again, and Kevin felt the unsettling sensation of being drawn toward the unknown. He took a deep breath, forcing calm. "All hands, brace for impact." The Odyssey plunged into the anomaly, and for a moment, silence reigned. Then, with a blinding flash, the ship emerged into an alien star system, unfamiliar constellations glittering against the void. "Where are we?" Kevin demanded, his mind racing. Harper's voice was barely a whisper. "Sir, according to our charts, this system doesn't exist." Kevin stared at the viewscreen, a sense of foreboding settling over him. They had ventured into the unknown, and there was no turning back. "Prepare a scouting party," he said quietly. "Let's find out what we've gotten ourselves into." As the crew scrambled to their stations, Kevin couldn't shake the feeling that their journey had taken a fateful turn. The vastness of space held many secrets, and they had just stumbled upon one that could change everything. As the crew of the Odyssey prepared to explore the uncharted star system, an urgent transmission crackled through the ship's columns. "Commander Cross, this is Admiral Thompson. Report to the briefing room immediately." Kevin exchanged a puzzled glance with Lieutenant Harper before making his way to the briefing room. The door slid open to reveal Admiral Thompson's stern visage on the holoscreen. "Commander, we've lost contact with Epsilon Prime," the Admiral stated without preamble. "All communications went dark 2 hours ago." Kevin's heart skipped a beat. Epsilon Prime was a vital human colony, a beacon of hope in the vastness of space. "Do we know the cause?" Kevin inquired, striving to keep his voice steady. "Negative," Thompson replied, his expression grim, but satellite imagery captured this before the blackout. The screen flickered, displaying a grainy image of a massive, ominous vessel hovering above the colony. "Who are they?" Kevin asked, a sense of foreboding settling over him. "We're not certain," the Admiral admitted, "but initial analysis suggests a new alien species. We're designating them as Krell. Your mission is to investigate and secure Epsilon Prime." Kevin nodded, determination hardening his features. "Understood, sir, we'll depart immediately." As the transmission ended, Kevin felt a surge of responsibility. The lives of thousands depended on their success. He returned to the bridge, his mind racing with strategies. "Set course for Epsilon Prime," he ordered, "and prepare the crew for possible hostile engagement." The Odyssey leaped into hyperspace, stars stretching into lines as they hurtled toward the unknown. Kevin stood at the helm, the weight of command heavy on his shoulders. He couldn't shake the image of the mysterious vessel, nor the unsettling silence from the colony. Hours later, they dropped out of hyperspace, Epsilon Prime looming large on the viewscreen. The planet's surface was eerily dark, save for sporadic fires casting an ominous glow. "Scan for life signs," Kevin commanded, anxiety gnawing at him. Lieutenant Harper's fingers flew over the console. "Sir, I'm detecting faint human life signs, but there's interference. It's like something is jamming our sensors." Kevin's jaw tightened. "Prepare a landing party. We're going down there." As they descended to the planet's surface, the scale of the devastation became apparent. The sense of desolation was overwhelming. Suddenly, movement flickered at the edge of his vision. Kevin turned to see a group of colonists, their eyes vacant, moving in unison like marionettes. What the hell? Harper muttered, her hand instinctively reaching for her weapon. Before Kevin could respond, a chilling voice echoed in his mind. Welcome, Commander. We've been expecting you. As Kevin and his team cautiously advanced through the desolate streets of Epsilon Prime, the eerie silence was broken only by the distant crackle of flames and the occasional collapse of a weakened structure. Suddenly, a faint, rhythmic tapping echoed from a nearby alleyway. Kevin signaled for his team to halt, his senses on high alert. He motioned for Lieutenant Harper to cover him as he approached the source of the sound. Turning the corner, Kevin's flashlight beam illuminated a young girl, no older than 10, crouched beside a makeshift drum fashioned from debris, her eyes, wide with a mix of fear and curiosity, locked onto his. Hey there, Kevin said softly, lowering his weapon. We're here to help. What's your name? The girl hesitated before whispering. Lena. Lena, are you alone? Where are your parents? Tears welled up in her eyes as she shook her head. They didn't make it. Kevin felt a pang of sorrow but maintained his composure. It's okay, Lena, you're safe now. We're going to get you out of here. As he reached out his hand, Lena recoiled, her gaze darting to something behind him. Kevin spun around just in time to see a group of colonists emerging from the shadows, their movements unnaturally synchronized, eyes devoid of emotion. Commander, we've got company. Harper's voice crackled through the calms. Before Kevin could respond, the colonists lunged forward, their faces contorted in silent rage. Kevin and his team were forced into a defensive stance, unwilling to harm innocent civilians but left with little choice as the mob closed in. In the midst of the chaos, Lena screamed, clutching her head, "Make it stop, please, make it stop." Kevin's heart raced as he realized the horrifying truth. The Krell were using some form of mind control to manipulate the colonists. Desperation fueled his actions as he fought to subdue the attackers without causing injuries. Harper, we need to find the source of this control and shut it down. Now. On it, Commander, Harper replied, her fingers flying over her portable scanner. I'm picking up a strong signal emanating from the central tower. It must be the Krell's command center. Kevin nodded, determination hardening his resolve. Team, we move to the tower. We end this, here and now. As they fought their way toward the central tower, the full extent of the Krell's insidious control became evident. Friends and family turned against each other, their wills subjugated by an unseen force. The emotional toll weighed heavily on Kevin, but he pressed on, driven by the hope of freeing the colonists from their torment. Reaching the base of the tower, the team encountered a formidable barrier, a shimmering energy field blocking their entry. Harper analyzed the field, her brow furrowed in concentration. It's a quantum barrier, Commander. I might be able to disrupt it, but it'll take time. Do it, Kevin ordered, positioning himself to defend against any approaching threats. As Harper worked, the ground trembled, and a low, ominous hum filled the air. Commander, we have a problem, Harper said, her voice tense. The barrier is linked to a stealth mechanism. If I disable it, the whole tower could go effect. Kevin weighed their options. Is there any way to bypass it? Maybe, but it'll require accessing the main control panel inside, Harper replied. Then we go in, Kevin decided. We'll find another way. As they searched for an alternative entry point, Lena tugged at Kevin's sleeve. There's a secret passage, she whispered. Kevin's eyes widened in surprise. Can you show us? Lena nodded, leading them to a concealed hatch partially hidden beneath the rubble. My friends and I used to play here, she explained. Good job, Lena, Kevin praised, offering her a reassuring smile. Stay close. Descending into the passage, the team navigated the labyrinthine tunnels, the air thick with tension. Emerging within the tower's lower levels, they moved stealthily, avoiding patrols of mind-controlled colonists. Reaching the control room, they found a massive device pulsating with energy, tendrils of light extending from it like a spider's web. That's it, Harper confirmed, the mind control transmitter. As they approached, a figure stepped from the shadows, a Krell commander, its eyes gleaming. Welcome, humans, it hissed. You are too late, your kind will serve us. Kevin raised his weapon, his voice unwavering. Kevin tightened his grip on his weapon, locking eyes with the Krell commander. We will never be your slaves, he declared, his voice unwavering. The Krell's lips curled into a sinister smile. Resistance is futile, your species will bow to us. Without warning, the alien lunged, Moving with a speed that belied its size, Kevin barely had time to react. Parrying the blow, the force of the impact reverberated through his arms, but he stood firm. Harper fired her weapon, but the shots dissipated against an invisible shield surrounding the Krell. "Commander, our weapons are ineffective," she shouted, frustration evident in her voice. Kevin's mind raced. They needed a new strategy, and fast. His gaze flickered to the mind control transmitter, its pulsating energy casting eerie shadows across the room. An idea sparked. "Harper, can you overload the transmitter?" he asked, dodging another strike from the Krell. She glanced at the device, then back at him. "It's risky. The explosion could take out the entire tower." "Do it," Kevin ordered. "It's our only chance." Harper nodded, sprinting toward the control panel. The Krell noticed her movement and moved to intercept, but Kevin blocked its path, engaging it in close combat. The alien was strong, but Kevin's determination fueled his every move. He fought with everything he had, buying Harper the time she needed. "Almost there," Harper muttered, her fingers flying over the controls. The Krell, sensing the imminent threat, roared in fury, throwing Kevin across the room. Pain shot through his body as he collided with the wall, but he forced himself to stand, refusing to give in. "Now, Harper," he shouted. With a final keystroke, Harper initiated the overload. The transmitter's hum grew to a deafening pitch, and the room was bathed in blinding light. "Take cover," Kevin yelled, diving behind a console. The explosion rocked the tower, a shockwave of energy. The Krell let out a piercing scream. As the dust settled, Kevin pushed himself up, coughing. "Harper, you okay?" "I'm here," she replied, emerging from her hiding spot, a relieved smile on her face. Kevin looked around. The oppressive energy that had filled the room was gone. He activated his calm. "All units, report." One by one, his team checked in. They were alive. "Commander," Harper said, her voice tinged with awe. "The colonists, they're free." Kevin felt a surge of relief. They had done it, but as he looked out at the city, he knew their work was far from over. This battle was won, but the war against the Krell had just begun. As the dust settled from the explosion, Kevin and his team emerged from their cover, surveying the wreckage of the Krell's control center. The once pulsating transmitter now lay in ruins, its malevolent energy dissipated into the ether. Kevin's heart pounded in his chest, a mix of relief and lingering tension coursing. "Commander, look," Harper called out, pointing toward the observation window. Outside, the colonists who had been under the Krell's control were slowly regaining their senses. Their movements no longer synchronized by an unseen force. Faces that had been blank and emotionless now displayed confusion, fear, and dawning realization. Kevin felt a surge of hope. They had succeeded in freeing the colonists from the Krell's grasp, but as he watched, his gaze was drawn to the horizon, where a massive Krell mothership loomed ominously, its dark silhouette a stark contrast against the sky. "We need to evacuate the colonists and regroup with the fleet," Kevin said, turning to his team. "This isn't over yet." As they made their way back through the devastated city, Kevin couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. The Krell had been formidable adversaries, their technology and tactics far beyond anything humanity had encountered before. Why had they focused so intently on Epsilon Prime? Reaching the central square, they found a group of colonists huddled together, fear etched into their faces. Among them was Lena, the young girl they had encountered earlier. She ran to Kevin, her eyes wide with a mix of relief and terror. "Commander, they're coming back," she whispered, her voice trembling. He turned to see a contingent of Krell soldiers advancing toward them, their weapons gleaming menacingly. The odds were overwhelming, and Kevin knew that a direct confrontation would be difficult. "Harper, get these people to safety," Kevin ordered, his mind racing. "I'll hold them off." "Sir, you can't," Harper began, but Kevin cut her off. "That's an order, Lieutenant," he said firmly. "Go." As Harper led the colonists away, Kevin took a deep breath, steeling himself for the inevitable. He raised his weapon, ready to make his stand. But before the Krell could reach him, a deafening roar filled the air. Kevin looked up to see a squadron of Alliance fighters descending from the sky, their weapons blazing as they engaged the Krell forces. "Commander Cross, this is Captain Reynolds," a voice crackled over his comm. "Need a lift?" Kevin couldn't help but smile. "You have impeccable timing, Captain." As the fighters provided cover, a dropship descended, its ramp lowering to reveal a team of Alliance Marines. Kevin boarded the ship, relief washing over him as the ramp closed behind him. As they ascended into the atmosphere, Kevin looked down at the ravaged planet below. They had won a significant battle, but the war against the Krell was far from over. The road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but Kevin knew that humanity's indomitable spirit would see them through. Set course for the fleet, Kevin ordered. We have a fight to finish. As the dropship streaked toward the stars, Kevin felt a renewed sense of purpose. The Krell would soon learn the true strength of the human spirit.